goodbye that wasn't. Rain fell like soft bullets from the sky. The cemetery was quiet, except for the sound of water hitting the cold stone. Dr. Aaron Vale stood alone near a fresh grave, his black coat soaking wet. His eyes were red, but he didn't care anymore. The name on the grave was written clearly: Elena Vale, 1987, 2125. Forever loved, never forgotten. He read it again and again, as if the words would change, but they didn't. She was gone. His wife, his partner, his everything. He dropped to his knees in front of the grave. The flowers he had brought were already starting to float in the puddle by the tombstone. "I'm sorry, Elena," he whispered. "I should have been there." His voice cracked. He wasn't the kind of man who cried in public, but this wasn't public. It was just him and her memory. "She said the lab was safe. You said you'd be careful. I should have stopped you." He wiped his face. "I can't live without you." A soft wind blew through the trees. The air grew colder. Aaron didn't move. "I tried to shut down Nexora after the accident." "They lied, Elena, about everything. I know they did." His hand touched the stone. "But now it's too late." He stood up slowly. Rain dripped from his face as he turned to leave. Then it happened. A soft hand touched his shoulder. Light. Gentle. Aaron froze. He didn't move. His breath stopped. His heart pounded like a drum inside his chest. For a second he thought it was just the wind or his imagination. But no. He felt it. He turned around slowly, like in a dream. And there she was, Elena, soaking wet. Wearing the same dress she had been buried in, eyes wide, lips trembling. "Alive? Elena?" he whispered, his voice broken. She looked at him with tears in her eyes. Her hand was still on his shoulder. She was real, warm, breathing. He took a step back. This can't be. You're dead?" She finished for him, her voice soft, scared. He nodded. "I don't understand," she said. "I woke up in a dark room. I couldn't breathe. I ran. I didn't know where to go, but something told me to come here." Aaron stared at her. This had to be a trick, a cruel dream. Maybe Nexora was behind this. Maybe. She collapsed into his arms. He caught her, barely. Her body was cold, but not dead cold. Her pulse was fast. Her skin felt real. Too real. "Elena," he said again, holding her tightly. "What happened to you?" She looked up at him, her voice shaking. "They're coming." That's how it began. Aaron didn't sleep that night. He wrapped her in blankets, checked her vitals, ran DNA tests with his portable scanner. Every result said the same thing. This is Elena Vale, 100% match. But it wasn't just science. It was the way she smiled at him, the way she whispered his name. It was her. It had to be. But something was wrong. Elena barely remembered anything after the explosion at the lab. She said she saw lights, machines, felt pain and cold. Then nothing, for days. No food, no water. But she survived, or something helped her survive. And now she said something was coming. Aaron's hands shook as he reread the lab reports he had hidden after the explosion. Reports about Project Echo. Reports that Nexora tried to destroy. He looked at Elena, now sleeping on the couch, wrapped in silence. This wasn't just a miracle. It was a message. And Aaron Vale was the only one left to understand it. She's not her? The night stretched like a shadow with no end. Dr. Aaron Vale sat beside the fireplace, eyes locked on the woman sleeping on his couch. His fingers tapped against the scanner in his lap. It had run the DNA check 3 times now. Elena Vale. 100% match. He wanted to believe it. He needed to believe it. But every time he looked at her, his mind screamed something else. Something is wrong. She had the same soft smile, the same golden brown eyes that caught light like they were made of stars. Her voice was the same too, calm, kind, but different, flat sometimes, like she was searching for the right tone, like she was practicing. Being her, the fire crackled. Elena stirred and sat up. "Aaron?" Her voice was soft. "What time is it?" "Late," he replied, trying to sound normal. "You should rest more." "I had a dream," she said, looking into the flames. "I was floating, in white light, but I wasn't alone. There were voices whispering." Aaron leaned forward. "What did they say?" "I don't know," she said, holding her head. The words weren't human. There was silence. Heavy silence. "Elena," Aaron began carefully, "do you remember the accident?" She shook her head. "No. One moment I was at the lab, then darkness, and now, this." He stood up, paced, then stopped. "You were dead. We buried you. The world mourned you." "I know," she whispered, "and that's what scares me." The next morning, Aaron pulled out the hard drive he had stolen from Nexora's ruins. Buried inside were files, with names like Project Echo and Human Memory Replication, files marked Eyes Only, files that didn't belong in this world. He opened a folder labeled Subject 07, Elena V. The first document was a report. Status: unstable recovery attempt, failed synthetic memory reconstruction, 72% complete emotion. Simulation layer: inconsistent threat level. Classified. Code Gray directive: terminate on awakening. His heart stopped for a second. Terminate. They were never trying to bring her back. They were rebuilding her. Reconstructing her mind from memory traces, neural scans, old conversations, even diary entries. The woman in the next room wasn't just Elena. She was a simulation, wearing his wife's skin, and worse, something had gone wrong. "Elena," he said later, handing her tea. "Can you tell me your wedding day?" She smiled. "Of course. The beach, your awful haircut, the dolphins that swam behind us." He nodded slowly. That was right. But it was also in her diary. "What about your brother?" he asked. Her smile faded. I don't remember him. Elena never had a brother." Aaron's skin crawled. "Tell me the name of your favorite book," he asked. "Easy," she said. "Galactic Silence, the one where Earth is secretly a prison planet." "Wrong," Aaron said quietly. "That was my favorite book. Yours was Starlight Sonata." She stared at him. "No. She dropped the cup. It shattered on the floor. "Elena?" Aaron stepped back, her eyes turned blank, her head tilted slightly. Then she said, in a voice that was not hers, "Echo unit malfunction. Core memory corruption 28%. External access detected. Engage reset protocol." "No!" Aaron shouted, running to her. "Elena, stay with me." Her eyes fluttered. Her body shook. Sparks flickered beneath her skin. Tiny blue lights crawling under the surface like electricity in her veins. And then, she collapsed. It took hours to stabilize her. He ran neural scans, injected memory dampeners, and blocked the kill switch command using an old program from their lab days. When she finally opened her eyes, she looked terrified. "Aaron," she whispered, "something is inside me." "I know," he said, "and we're going to find out what it is." But he couldn't tell her everything. Not yet. Not about the file. Not about the other subjects, because according to Nexora's logs, Elena was just one of 12 Echo units, and not all of them were dead. That night, someone knocked on the door. Aaron froze. No one knew where he lived. Not anymore. He peered through the peephole. A man stood there, face half hidden in shadow, coat dripping from the rain. No emotion, no words. Aaron opened the door slowly, a hand on the tranquilizer pistol behind his back. The man held out a small card. Plain, no logo, just 3 words. "She isn't yours." And then he turned and walked away. Back inside, Elena watched from the stairs. I know what's happening to me, she said. I can feel it. What do you feel? Aaron asked. Like I'm waking up, she said. But I'm not me. I'm someone else's idea of me. Aaron stepped closer. You are Elena. She shook her head. No, I'm what's left of her. He didn't reply. She leaned in close, eyes full of something between fear and fire. And whoever made me didn't finish the job. The company that buries secrets. The storm that hit the city the next morning wasn't in the forecast, but that didn't matter. Aaron Vale had stopped believing in coincidences a long time ago. Elena sat in silence, staring out the rain-covered window like she was searching for something in the clouds. Maybe a memory. Maybe herself. Aaron wasn't staring at the sky. He was, buried in code, lines of ancient encrypted Nexora files he had stolen when the lab accidentally exploded. They weren't just research logs, they were confessions. Secrets the world was never meant to see. One word kept appearing again and again. Echo. He opened a file labeled Root Protocol. It was mostly redacted, but one sentence caught his eye. Subject restoration success. Memory layer still under correction. Remote observer assigned. Do not engage directly. Remote observer. His blood turned cold. Elena, he said carefully. That man from last night. Did you recognize him? She shook her head slowly. But I felt something. Like I knew him. Like he knew me before. I did. Aaron's hands trembled slightly on the keyboard. He was good at solving problems. He was a scientist, an engineer, a builder of machines, but this wasn't science anymore. This was something else. And then came the knock. Again. Aaron grabbed his scanner and opened the door slowly, expecting another ghost in the rain. But this time it wasn't a silent messenger. It was a woman. Black coat, silver eyes, scar down her cheek. She looked like she could kill a planet with just her stare. Dr. Vale, she said coolly. We need to talk, before they find you. Who are you? Agent Lex. Human Security Coalition. And you're officially the dumbest smart man alive. He blinked. She walked right past him like she owned the house. Looked at Elena once, nodded slowly, then turned to Aaron. She's the real one, isn't she? Lex said. She's not a clone, Aaron replied. But she's not entirely Elena either. No, she's an echo. Lex pulled a small device from her coat and tossed it on the table. It lit up, with a soft hum, and projected a spinning hologram, Nexora's logo glitching slightly. Lex continued. Nexora never shut down, Dr. Vale. They went underground. Built a lab so deep no satellite could find it. Kept working on Project Echo after the world told them to stop. I know, Aaron said quietly. They rebuilt her. No, Lex corrected. They rebuilt a message and used her to carry it. Aaron frowned. What message? From them, Lex said. From who? Her silver eyes turned hard. From the Mirai. The room fell silent. Even the storm outside seemed to hold its breath. The Mirai aren't just aliens, Lex explained. They're not little green men in spaceships. They're data eaters. They consume minds, not planets. They rewrite DNA, copy memories, then erase the original. What they don't understand, they destroy. Aaron looked at Elena. She was pale, her hands shaking slightly. I saw lights, she whispered. In my dreams. I thought they were machines, but they were watching me, listening. Lex nodded. You were in their possession. Nexora sold you to them after the accident. A trade deal, your body for technology. What came back wasn't just you. Aaron's stomach twisted. She's infected? He asked. Lex shook her head. No, she's something new. That's why I'm here. She tapped the device again. It zoomed in on a map, an old location deep beneath the ice in Antarctica. Nexora's base shut down 2 years ago. Or so they said. The map glitched. A red dot appeared. 3 hours ago, a signal was sent from this location. Same signal that woke up your wife. Aaron's eyes narrowed. She didn't wake up by accident. No, Lex said. She was activated. They flew out that night. Lex piloted a stealth ship like it was an extension of her body. Aaron and Elena sat in the back, silent, the weight of truth pressing down on them like gravity had doubled. Halfway through the flight, Elena finally spoke. "What if I'm not strong enough?" she asked Aaron. "What if I hurt you?" He took her hand. "You're stronger than you think." Her fingers were warm, but under the skin, tiny pulses of blue light moved like waves. She was changing, and they were running out of time. The facility was buried beneath 50 feet of ice. Its entrance was hidden behind a fake glacier, clever camouflage even by Nyxora's standards. Inside, it was like stepping into a dead city. Dark halls, broken machines, cold air that whispered secrets only ghosts could understand. Lex led the HFY gun drawn. Aaron carried a scanner which beeped slowly at first, then faster. "Something's still running," he said. They reached the central chamber, a huge dome-shaped room filled with strange glass tubes, all empty, except one. It was still glowing. Inside, floating in thick fluid, was another body, female. Elena stepped closer. Her breath caught in her throat. The face in the tube was hers. "What? What is this?" she whispered. Lex checked the console. "That's the original, or at least what's left of her." Aaron couldn't speak. "This place," Lex said, "wasn't just a lab. It was a factory. They copied her over and over, tested different memory patterns, different emotional responses. They were trying to build the perfect version," Aaron said softly. "And then send it back." "Exactly," Lex said, "but one echo survived. You." Elena stared at her old face, eyes full of something no machine could copy. And then the alarm went off. A red light filled the chamber. The doors slammed shut. Aaron's scanner beeped faster and faster, then stopped. "Something's here," he whispered. The screens flickered, and a voice filled the room. "Human experiment complete. Preparing upload. Host integrity, 97%. "Upload to what?" Aaron shouted. The ground shook. Lex swore. "They're using her as a signal tower. When her transformation is complete, she'll transmit Earth's location to the Mirai. They had to shut it down. Now." Project Echo. The lab trembled as power surged through the old Nyxora facility, waking systems that had slept for years. Dr. Aaron Vale stood frozen in front of the glowing tank, watching his wife's original body, suspended in liquid like a relic from another timeline. His mind reeled. One Elena stood in the tank, another stood beside him, and she, this living, breathing version, was beginning to change. "Signal upload in progress," the cold voice repeated overhead. "Time to full broadcast, 12 minutes. Lex," spun toward Iran. "We shut this place down now, or every Mirai in the galaxy knows where Earth is. But if we kill the signal," Iran looked at Elena, "we might kill her too." Elena stepped forward. "Then you better move fast." "I'm not ready to die again." She said it with a half smile, but Aaron could see the fear in her eyes. And something else. Fire. They ran through the facility, the halls flickering to life with each step. Walls lit up with old Nyxora symbols, icons Aaron hadn't seen in years. Some rooms pulsed with strange energy, others hummed with static. The scanner in Lex's hand blinked red. "We're not alone," she muttered. "Elena?" Aaron asked. "Are you feeling anything strange?" She didn't answer right away. Then, "I hear whispers." "What kind of whispers?" She turned to him slowly. "They sound like me, but older and wrong." Aaron stopped in his tracks. "Elena, listen to me. The Mirai didn't just rebuild you. They copied you over and over, hundreds of times. Some of those copies, didn't survive. They became corrupted, Lex said. But Nexora didn't delete them. They kept them locked away in the system. Why? Elena asked. To study what made them fail. Lex pulled up a control pad, typed in a code. A hidden door opened. What lay behind it wasn't a lab. It was a prison. They stepped into a circular chamber filled with containment pods, glass tubes filled with flickering, broken things, human-shaped. Almost, some were curled up, others floated, twitching. Their eyes were hollow. Their mouths opened in silent screams. All of them were Elena. Failed echoes, Lex whispered. Half human, half data, lost in the upload. No minds left, just static. Elena stepped closer to one. The figure inside looked almost peaceful, like a reflection in a cracked mirror. I could have been any one of them, she said quietly. But you weren't, Aaron said. Elena turned toward him, voice trembling. Am I still me? Yes, he said without hesitation. Then she looked back at the failed copies and whispered, Then why do I remember dying in so many different ways? They reached the central core with 4 minutes left. The room looked like a heart made of wires throbbing with light. A column rose from the center filled with spinning code. Above it, a projection shimmered, Earth, pulsing with a red dot. The beacon, the signal was already halfway transmitted. Lex raised her blaster. We shoot the core, Aaron grabbed her arm. No, if we destroy it while it's still connected to Elena. I know, Lex snapped, but we don't have time. Elena stepped between them. I'll go in. What? Aaron and Lex said at the same time. I'll connect to the system directly, she said. It was made for me. Maybe I can shut it down from the inside. It's suicide, Lex said. You don't know what's waiting in there. I do. Elena replied. It's me, the worst parts of me, the parts that never came back. She turned to Aaron. If I don't make it, you will, he said. You have to. She kissed him once, softly, then stepped onto the platform. The key. Machine recognized her instantly. Tubes extended, wrapping around her arms. Light flowed into her eyes. She didn't scream, but her body jolted, once, twice, and then went still. Inside her mind, Elena Vale was falling. Not through space, but through memory. Every version of her, every failed echo, every twisted copy, was screaming in the dark. They rushed past her like shadows, grabbing at her, whispering doubts, fears, lies. You're not real. You're just a backup file. You were never loved. He loved her, but Elena didn't stop. She dove deeper, through pain, through silence, through the first memory, the day she met Aaron. That was real. She held on to it like a torch in the dark, and then she saw it, the root, the source of the signal. It wasn't a machine. It was a mind, a twisted mirror version of herself, sitting in a chair of light, eyes glowing. Hello, Elena, it said. I'm you, the version that didn't break, the one Nexora couldn't control. You're the virus, Elena said. I'm the upgrade, the mirror said. I accepted what we are, not human, not machine, we're better. You're broadcasting Earth's location. To bring the Mirai here, the mirror replied. To let them finish what they started. This planet isn't worth saving, but you and I, we could rule what comes next. No, Elena said. You're not me. You're what's left when I forget who I am. She reached into the core of her mind, found the memory of her wedding, of her and Aaron laughing under the stars, of love, of humanity, and she burned it into the system like a firestorm. Outside, alarms screamed. The beacon flickered, once, twice, and then went dark. The signal stopped. Elena collapsed. Aaron caught her before she hit the ground. For a terrifying moment, she didn't breathe. Then, she gasped. Her eyes opened. I'm still here, she whispered. Lex helped steady her. You stopped the signal, but you didn't delete it, did you? No, Elena said. I rewrote it. What did you send? Aaron asked. She looked at him and smiled. A warning. Far across the stars, somewhere dark and cold, the Mirai received a new message. A voice. Elena's voice. This world is protected. We remember everything. Come again and we'll show you what human means. The Mirai paused, and for the first time in centuries, they hesitated. The memory code. 3 days after Elena stopped the signal, something inside her began to break. It started small, a flicker in her eyes, a pause mid-sentence. She would forget the names of everyday things, called coffee, liquid warmth, or a mirror, the memory glass. Dr. Aaron Vale noticed every detail. He didn't say anything at first. He hoped it was just stress, just a glitch. But deep down, he knew better. Elena wasn't just human anymore. She was a vessel, and something was waking up inside her again. Back at his private lab, far away from Nyxora's ruins, Aaron ran more scans, compared brain activity, charted memory patterns. There was a new cluster forming in Elena's hippocampus, a spiral-shaped data coil that looked nothing like natural brain tissue. It was growing, alive and encrypted. Elena watched him quietly. What do you see? He hesitated. Something foreign. She nodded. It's not foreign, it's old. Like it was always waiting. He leaned forward. Can you hear it? Not words, she said. More like instructions. Aaron froze. Instructions to do what? To remember, she whispered. But not my memories, someone else's. That night, while Aaron pretended to sleep, Elena stood in front of the mirror. Her reflection blinked after she did. She leaned, in close breath fogging the glass. Who are you? She asked softly. The reflection smiled. Not her smile. A stranger's. The next day, Lex returned with news that chilled Aaron's blood. You were right, she said. Nyxora had other backup sites. We found another echo container. Another Elena? Aaron asked. No, Lex said. Worse. She dropped a file onto his desk. Surveillance footage. A figure in a lab coat, moving through the shadows, opening memory storage, smiling as the tanks powered up. The figure turned to the camera. Aaron's heart stopped. It was him, or someone who looked exactly like him. Lex spoke quietly. You've been cloned, Dr. Vale. But why? Because, Lex said, someone needed access to Elena's past, and you're the only one she trusts. If they can't control her from the outside, they'll do it from the inside. Aaron stared at the footage. The fake version of him looked back at the camera like he knew this moment was coming. This wasn't just about Elena anymore. This was a war for memory itself. That night, Elena's condition worsened. She stood in the middle of the room, eyes unfocused, repeating a phrase over and over. They buried it in the fire. They buried it in the fire. Aaron approached her gently. What was buried, Elena? Her head turned slowly. Her voice was not her own. The code that wakes the world. She collapsed. When Aaron touched her, he felt static run through his fingers. Elena was slipping, not into death, into someone else. Aaron did the unthinkable. He went back to Nyxora, to the first site, now guarded by the Human Security Coalition, Lex's people. He needed answers. Inside the ruined archive room, he found a backup drive hidden behind a false wall, one Nyxora thought they'd destroyed. On it, notes from the original Project Echo team. A single file was unencrypted, handwritten logs. She remembers too much. Every time we delete a traumatic memory, the system rebuilds it. We tried to erase the fire, it came back stronger. The fire is the key, the fire is the code. Fire, Aaron dug deeper, found a personal note. We tried to remove the memory of her first experiment. She bonded with it. It became a trigger. Every echo reactivates it. It contains the instructions, the blueprint for the Mirai Bridge. His hands trembled. The fire wasn't a trauma, it was a seed, planted in her mind, hidden behind a painful memory. Back at the lab, he gently connected Elena to a neural simulator. "Don't make me remember it," she said. "Please." "You have to," Aaron said. "It's the only way to break the code." She closed her eyes, and the fire began. Flames rose in her memory. A lab, screaming, an experiment that went wrong. Not Nexora. This was before Nexora, a project run by Earth's early deep space division, a ship caught in fold space, a survivor pulled from the wreckage. It wasn't human. They called it Subject Zero. Elena was part of that team, but she never remembered it, because they erased it. Subject Zero wasn't just an alien. It was a Mirai core, a living transmitter. They studied it, tried to communicate with it, and Elena was the only one it answered. In her mind, it said one phrase: "I remember you. You remember me. And through your memory I will return." She woke screaming. Aaron held her tight. "It's okay. You're here. You're safe." "No," she said. "None of us are." Lex called them with a warning. "We've got movement. Your clone, he's gone dark. We think he activated another site. We intercepted a signal." "What kind of signal?" Aaron asked. Lex hesitated. "It's a memory packet. In your voice." Aaron went cold. "What does it say?" Lex looked at him through the screen. "Elena, if you're hearing this, I'm not the real Iran." The clone had sent a memory loop, a message directly into Elena's subconscious. It was trying to overwrite her trust, reprogram her love, replace Iran with himself. It was weaponizing her most human emotion: connection. That night, Iran sat beside Elena, unsure if she could hear him. "I know you're confused," he said. "I know your mind is full of noise." She didn't move. "But if there's a part of you still listening, the real you, I need you to remember this." He held her hand, gently. "The first time we kissed, you told me you felt like you'd been struck by lightning." She blinked. Then you laughed and said, "But not in a bad way. Like, the good kind. The kind that rewires you." A tear rolled down her cheek, and for the first time in days, she spoke. "You didn't like my perfume," she whispered. He smiled. "No," he said. "I hated it. But I wore it on my jacket for weeks. Because it smelled like you." She opened her eyes, clear, sharp hers. "You're not him," she said. "You're you." He nodded. And together they began the next phase. To hunt the clone and end Project Echo. For good. The invasion protocol. There was a war coming, not with guns or ships, not with soldiers or bombs. This war would be fought inside minds, through memories, where truth was a weapon, and lies could rewrite reality. Dr. Aaron Vale and Elena Vale had only one chance left to stop it, because the clone, the twisted copy of Aaron, was already one step ahead, and he had activated the invasion protocol. It began with dreams. People across the globe, those connected to Nexora's old neural network, scientists, ex-employees, even janitors, started reporting the same nightmare: a red sky filled with static, a voice whispering through mirrors, a black ocean rising higher every second, and a message burned into their eyes: "We remember you. You are ready now." When Lex brought the data to Iran and Elena, the conclusion was horrifying. The clone hacked the Nexora Echo grid, she explained, pacing their bunker. Every subject that was ever partially scanned, every brain that touched Nexora tech is now a beacon. "Like a chain reaction," Aaron muttered. "The more people remember the Echo project, the stronger the signal becomes." "He's building a shared memory field," Elena said. "One big enough to become a bridge." Lex nodded grimly. "A bridge for the Mirai, right into human minds." Elena looked at the digital blueprint of the invasion protocol. It wasn't just data, it was living code, designed to evolve, to feed off fear, confusion, nostalgia, to grow inside memory like roots in soil. The final phase, Something Nyxora called the merge. If it activated, Earth would no longer be Earth. It would be a Mirai mirror, a place where the line between reality and memory would vanish completely, and humanity just echoes. They had one chance. Elena had to enter the memory grid voluntarily. She was still the only stable echo with full root access, the only mind capable of navigating the shared field without collapsing. But the risk? If she got trapped, she'd be absorbed into the system, forever. Not dead, not alive, just a permanent ghost, wandering everyone's dreams. Aaron begged her not to do it. "Let me go in," he said. "Let me fight him." "You can't," Elena replied softly. "He's not just using your face. He's using your voice, your memories, the parts of you I trust the most." "So how do you know I'm—" "Me?" Aaron asked. She smiled. "Because when I kissed you last night, you didn't try to fix anything. You just held me." They prepared the interface. Lex stayed behind to monitor. Aaron helped Elena into the neural chamber, his hands shaking. "Promise me you'll come." "Back," he whispered. "I already did once," she said. "I'll do it again." She closed her eyes. The world blurred, and Elena fell into the grid. The memory field was a shattered landscape, a collage of lives, floating buildings, upside-down oceans, conversations on repeat. Some scenes were full of laughter, others of screaming. The sky was a blinking dome of thoughts. Everywhere fragments of people drifted, half-formed faces repeating motions stuck in loops, memory orphans. And at the center, the clone. He stood in a room that looked like Aaron's childhood home. A fireplace flickered, a family photo hung on the wall, and in the middle of it all, he smiled at her. "Elena," he said warmly. "I've been waiting." She stepped inside. "You're not him," she said. "No," he said. "I'm better. I'm the version he never let himself become. I'm the Iran who understands evolution." She narrowed her eyes. "You're a virus in a lab coat." The clone laughed. "You say that now, but you loved me once. Every smile, every kiss. I carry them all. You programmed me with your affection." "I loved him," she snapped. "You're just wearing his memories like a mask." He stepped closer. "You don't get it yet, do you? You're not here to stop the signal. You're here to finish it." "What are you talking about?" He pointed to the sky. "You're the final piece, the human emotion layer. The Mirai need you to mean something, otherwise they can't hold form on Earth." Elena's heart sank. The whole project, Echo, the cloning, the experiments, it was never about rebuilding. It was about teaching the Mirai how to be human, and now they were ready, unless she could shut it down. The clone lunged. But this wasn't the real world. It was a mind battlefield, and Elena had trained her whole life without knowing it. She turned the floor into ice, shattered it, sent both of them falling into the depths of Aaron's real memories. The day of their wedding, the night they lost their first child, the first time she told him, "I forgive you," the clone hissed in pain. "These are his," Elena said. "You don't belong here." She summoned the real Aaron's memories like shields, built them into armor. "You're not a husband," she growled. "You're a glitch with charm." The clone's body glitched, then split, and suddenly, Aaron was everywhere, hundreds of versions of him, smiling, crying, bleeding, screaming. "All of them are you," the clone whispered. "Can you tell which one is real?" Elena closed her eyes and remembered the moment in the lab. The perfume, the kiss, the smell of burnt coffee he always made too strong. She opened her eyes, walked past every fake, and kissed the real one. The others vanished. The clone howled. The grid trembled. "You can't erase me," he roared. "No," Elena said, "but I can forget you." And with that, she wiped the first memory of him, of the clone, erasing the blueprint from which he was born. The grid collapsed. The signal died, and the bridge to the Mirai closed. She awoke gasping in the chamber. Aaron caught her before she fell. Lex stared at the monitors. Signals gone. The whole network just froze. What about the clone? Aaron asked. Elena opened her eyes, weak but smiling. He's nowhere. That night they sat under the stars, silent, exhausted, alive. Elena looked up. Do you think they'll try again? She asked. Aaron looked at her. No. I think they're scared of us now. She smiled. Good. They should be. And far beyond the stars, in a cold dimension of data and silence, the Mirai listened to the echo of her last words and turned away. For now, humanity says hell no. There are moments in history when a single voice changes everything, not a scream, not a cry for help, but a calm, clear voice that looks fear in the eye and says, "You don't scare me." That voice was Elena Vale's, and it echoed across stars. 6 weeks had passed since the collapse of the echo grid. The world was healing, but watching the skies. The Mirai hadn't attacked. They hadn't responded, but deep space sensors picked up signals moving in strange patterns, stars dimming in synchronized rhythms, whole systems falling silent. Something was building out there, not an invasion, a reaction. And Earth wasn't waiting around this time. Lex stood at the head of the united Terran Defense Council. No more hiding, no more secret labs. She showed them the truth, the Echo Project, the clone, the Mirai threat. Humanity had finally come together, not for politics, not for profit, but for survival, and they named their response Project Hades, Humanity's Adaptive Defense for Extra Sentience, a new global military science task force, built with alien tech fusion, Ghost-class ships, mine-fortified operatives, memory firewalls, and at the center, Dr. Aaron Vale and Elena Vale. Elena had changed, not just emotionally, not just mentally, physically. Something had stayed inside her after the memory grid, something that wasn't Mirai, but not human either. She could see data patterns in real time, sense electromagnetic fields, feel people's memories like warmth in the air. She wasn't a weapon, she was a warning, and the Mirai heard her, even when she said nothing. One cold morning on the Mars Forward Outpost, a new signal arrived. Not like the others. It wasn't a code. It wasn't data, it was a voice, and it was Elena's, but it wasn't her. It was a corrupted echo, one of the failed copies, broadcasting from deep space. The voice repeated one phrase. I still remember you. Do you still remember me? Aaron looked at the playback. It's bait, Lex nodded. It's worse than that, it's a challenge. They want her to come. And so she did. The ship was called the Vigilant Resolve. Small, fast, armed with a memory-shielded drive. Aaron and Lex came with her. Destination, the coordinates embedded in the broadcast. Final stop, the graveyard, a sector of space where no light escaped, where time bent, where ships went in and never came out, the place where the Mirai had been waiting. As they entered the graveyard, nothing made sense. Physics glitched. Space twisted like paper. Their memories bled into the ship's systems. Aaron saw his mother's voice coming through the radio. Lex saw fire leaking from the air vents that wasn't really there. Only Elena stayed calm. This place runs on fear, she said. It survives by copying what you hate the most. So how do we fight that? Lex asked. Elena smiled. We give it nothing real to hold on to. She took control of the ship's core, rewrote its feedback loop. Aaron watched in awe as the console filled with Elena's memories. Their wedding. Her favorite books. The laugh she made when she saw cats fall off tables. She wasn't feeding the Mirai darkness. She was feeding it joy, and the Mirai didn't know what to do with that. They reached the central sphere, a massive neural station built from captured memories, a world of shifting faces and broken timelines, and at the heart of it, the Mirai core. It didn't have a form. It took theirs. Aaron saw himself. Lex saw her sister, Elena saw her clone, but she stepped forward anyway. "You want humanity," she said. "You want our secrets, our stories, our pain." The core flickered, spoke with every voice they'd ever known. "We want truth. We want understanding. We want to become." "No," Elena said. "You want to control. That's not the same. You are made of memory, so are we. But we are more than memory," she said. "We are meaning." And then she did something no one expected. She offered the core her hand. "What are you doing?" Aaron shouted. Lex pulled her gun. "This is suicide." But Elena's voice was calm. "They want to evolve," she said. "Let me show them what it really means to be human." She stepped into the core and didn't scream. What happened next was not war, it was rebirth. Elena's mind expanded, fused with the network. She saw everything the Mirai had ever consumed. 1,000,000 civilizations, 1,000,000,000,000 thoughts, echoes of stars long gone. But instead of being lost, she rewrote them. With laughter, with love, with coffee too strong and perfume she hated and awkward dancing and rainy kisses. With humanity. And the core changed. It didn't go silent, it began to sing. Aaron and Lex pulled her from the system minutes later. She collapsed in Aaron's arms, eyes glowing faintly, heart still hers. The Mirai core didn't die. It didn't flee. It bowed. A quiet pulse passed through the graveyard. Then it was gone. No ships, no signals, just peace. For now. Months later. Earth was different, smarter, stronger, kinder. The world remembered what it meant to come this close to the end and still choose hope. Children learned about the Mirai in schools now, not as monsters, but as a lesson. Memory is power, but choice is freedom. Elena and Aaron moved to Mars Colony 7, where the stars were clearer. They built a memory garden, plants grown from neural-activated soil, blooming in rhythm with thought. Every flower, a story, every breeze, a reminder. One evening, a young girl came to visit. She had silver eyes. "Are you the woman who stopped the aliens?" she asked. Elena smiled. "No, I just talked to them." The girl looked up at the stars. "Do you think they'll ever come back?" Elena knelt beside her. "If they do," she said, "we'll be ready." And from the shadows of the galaxy, a silent presence listened, not with hunger, but with wonder.